Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to The Scoop here on Tuesday, the 7th of February. I hope that you're having a fantastic day so far. Yes, this is going out live in the AM on the Tuesday, so you might end up seeing this a little bit earlier on your podcast services, which include Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud, or any of our on-demand services like YouTube or Twitch after the fact. So yeah, it's a nice and early one today. We've already got a packed show. We've already had show come in beforehand. Again, if you are watching this live, you'll already know this, but we sometimes have like a little pre-show over on Twitch where we go live a little bit earlier. We just get to speak to our friends that come into the chat. We have a quick rundown of the day so far, and that's exactly what we did this morning, showing you a picture of my boy in nursery, etc, etc. So thank you very much for you guys that join us nice and early. You get the notifications, you want to join us in the chat. It is just me today. Graham is still in London 10. He will be coming back at some point today, so chances are you're going to see him join us for the Scoop tomorrow, as he will be hosting this one. But today, it's just your boy. We've got 4 news articles. Usually, we'll have about 40 minutes worth of a show for $1 because the conversation doesn't quite flow as well without 2 people here. And you guys obviously make it a hell of a lot easier being in the chat, giving us information and your thoughts and opinions, where we then give you our thoughts and opinions on top of your thoughts and opinions. So again, for the 14th time today, I appreciate every single one of you that have joined us so far this morning. Yeah, there isn't that much to report. We do have the loot drop that's going to be taking place during this episode of The Scoop today. So it is going to be for a game of your choice, whether or not that'd be Hogwarts Legacy, which a few copies have arrived in the office today. There's a lot of people that are excited to be able to play that today. Whether or not you want to go back and you haven't started FIFA yet, whether or not you want to go through and maybe pick up Cyberpunk, the choice is absolutely yours. So we'll run that today with 200 of you. During the Royal Rumble, we had so many subs come through that there is 200 people in today's loot drop. So do stick around for that one. We'll find out who will be winning what. Yes, ESG Smith is in here saying, "Morning, Bib. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning." I could do the nameplates, and then you'll see that I'm in the middle. This is me here. This is me, Bibby. If you want to follow Graham still, he's still available down there, his nameplate. But yeah, as you can see, he's not here today. It's just your boy. But again, like I mentioned, we've got 4 news articles for you today. This, by the way, this trophy, the GT Omega Play of the Tournament, that video got announced yesterday. Congratulations to Naked Neil on taking home the trophy. And Batman Dan for also bagging yourself a chair via GT Omega, our very friendly sponsors over at GT Omega. Thank you very much for supplying those for you guys. And obviously these beautiful chairs as well. Pop, pop, pop. If you want any of our discount codes and you're in our Discord, go ahead into there. There is a bit on the side called like streaming tech, something like that, or it might be affiliates and discounts. In the Discord, we've got a ton of sponsors, as you can see, down the right-hand side and the left-hand side down here. So if you do want any new gear and you're looking to try and save some money, go ahead into our Discord. All our links are there, and you'll be able to say, I think 25% is the largest discount that we can get, and I think that's through Insert Coin. So yeah, if you want to get some nice new merch, go ahead. Go over there, save yourself some money. A lot of them, we don't actually get kickbacks as well. It's just the fact that they love to sponsor our communities. Our communities are absolutely fantastic, and you resonate with the with these kinds of sponsors. We don't just get sponsors from everybody. We go through a very rigorous check through to make sure that it's something that we believe in, something that we think you guys will be able to benefit for. There's no point in getting sponsors with things that we've never heard of before and you guys wouldn't be able to want, because what's the point in that? So yeah, we do partner with people who we believe in and they believe in us, so it makes it all worthwhile. Beans, congratulations on the win. Yeah, Beans Mark II won this one. Well done, Naked Neil. Well done, Viv, as well, for winning the Signal Booster £50 insert coin voucher. There was a lot of prizes being won. I've been messaging people over the last 3 days with their PUBG burning chicken coins, with their insert coin vouchers, with their Astro A30 headsets, with their chairs. Like, there were so many things coming out of, well, not necessarily this building, because a lot of it was coming from the manufacturers themselves rather than us handle it and then being exported into Europe because the God bless Brexit. Obviously, fucking the entire world, well, the entirety of Europe and us included. But But enough about politics, because I know fuck all about politics. I keep my nose well and truly out of it. But one thing I don't keep my nose out of is video game news, and that's exactly what we're going to bring you today. When my mouse decides to work on this screen, I'll be able to bring you our first news story of the day. Now, again, it has been a little bit clickbaity, but that's what we do best on this channel. We like to be able to try and hammer home the news in much shock value as possible, and that's exactly what we're going to give you right here as we dive into our first news story of the day. If I make this bigger. Written on Eurogamer by Tom Phillips, he says that Microsoft's delisting a range of top Xbox 360 games from the consoles marketplace. You have 24 hours to be able to buy these games. Now, first things first, again, a little bit clickbaity. Second thing is, if you already own these games, you don't have to worry. If you already own, oh, look at that Skyrim board game here, 125 quid, bastard. That's because I've been looking at new board games to get at home, by the way. When you do come up, I've got a Pokemon Battle board game that we'll be able to play for, like a proper TGC. So if you've got any Pokemon cards, bring them up and I'll smash the living shit out of you. But anyway, that's besides the point. If you have any of these games that I'm going to ring off for you in a second or show on screen, don't worry. If you already have them, it's absolutely fine. However, a lot of these games are no longer going to be available if you don't already own them. They're going to be delisted completely. But here we go. There's just 24 hours left to own several copies of the Xbox 360 Classics before they are removed from sale, likely forever, on the 7th of February. Microsoft announced a list of 40 titles soon to be removed from its Xbox 360 marketplace, some of which are not available to purchase on latter consoles or do not have newer versions or even remasters. This looks like it will include classic puzzler Spelunky, Martin's favourite Xbox Live arcade game Daytona USA, Valve's excellent The Orange Box compilation, Jet Set Radio, Left 4 Dead and its sequel, plus Double Fine's Tank Combat Iron Brigade. If you already own these games, there's no need to fret. You'll still be able to play any of the existing purchases, and of course, this also applies if you have them on discs. Beginning the 7th of February 2023, a limited set of games, add-ons, and in-game contents will no longer be available to be purchased in selected markets on the Xbox 360 store. A Microsoft spokesperson told Eurogamer, by the way of explanation, that these titles will no longer be able to be purchasable on the 360 store. These titles are available to be purchased on the Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X stores will remain purchasable. You will still be able to play discs or previously downloaded games onto your Xbox 360 and modern consoles if they're backwards compatible titles. Now, this is quite a murky grey area because there's a lot of games that are backwards compatible, but there's also tons that if you have the physical disc and you want to play it on your Xbox One, your Xbox Series S and X, you can put the disc in, it'll read it, but won't play it, which is super annoying. So the likes of SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, probably the best wrestling game there has ever been. I know people are going to say no mercy, but SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, best soundtrack, best roster, best game modes, absolutely fantastic. Can't play that on your Xbox One. Can't play that on your Series S and X. Pain in the arse. You can only play that on your Xbox 360. So that is where the middle ground is on this one. That's why I said it's quite murky. You can have the disc, but can't play it on your newer consoles. Highly frustrating. But if these are games that you want to buy and they're only digital only, go and get them within the next 24 hours. Otherwise, they are gone. So a list of the games I'm going to run through as fast as possible. If you're watching this on Twitch, click the cog, put me in slow, like -5 or something like that, so it's not going to overwhelm you, but we're going to fly through them. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Liberation, Blood of the Werewolf, Blue Dragon, Breakdown, COD Advanced Warfare, COD Ghosts, Castle Crashers, Cloning's Clyde, Counter-Strike Go. I actually think I have that. I looked at, I've read this article last night, by the way, or an article of this, so I actually checked. I do already have Counter-Strike Go. That's one that I needed to make sure that I already had before it disappears. Dark Souls 2, Darksiders 2, Daytona USA, Defense Grid, Each Chowdown, Far Cry 2, fantastic game. I've got about 50 copies of that on disc, so don't worry. Final Fight, Impact, Iron Brigade, Jeremy McGrath's Off-Road, Jet Set Radio, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, Limbo, fantastic game, Lost Odyssey, Mass Effect 2, Monopoly Deal, Mutant Blobs Attack, N+, Outpost Coloki, is that? Peggle 2, Phantom Breaker, Prince of Persia, Ruse, RUSE, Sega Vintage Collection, Alex the Kid and Co. Alex the Kid is one of Samantha's favourite games, by the way. I don't know if anyone know that, but you do now. Skate 2, South Park Stick of Truth, got that on disc. One of the best games ever. If you've not played that, go and buy it on disc. It's absolutely fine. It's still an amazing game. Spelunky, Splinter Cell Conviction, Star Wars Battlefront, Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Orange Box, and The Raven Episode 1. So there's a shit ton of games there that will not be available on the Xbox 360 anymore, and this is why we need to fear the digital age. Games like CSGO that are just going to disappear from the storefront if you haven't already bought. I mean, to be fair to them, the Xbox 360's been out since 2005, so it's nearly 18 years ago. If you hadn't bought it then, you're probably never going to buy it. You probably moved on. But there's a lot of games that are going to fall by the wayside that do actually have physical copies of. Like, I have physical copies of pretty much 80% of the games that are on here, maybe 60, maybe 70. I'd say comfortable, probably 70% worth of games that are on here. Games like Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2, fantastic. Far Cry 2, absolutely fantastic. Stick of Truth, amazing. The Monopoly game, I don't think I have that one. Castle Crashers, I think that was only a digital game. I don't remember seeing a physical version of that. I've got all the Assassin's Creed despite me not liking it. Someone actually gifted me those. Skate 2, got a copy of that. I've even got Skate 3. Splinter Cell Convictions, Battlefront. I don't have Knights of the Old Republic 2. I don't have that one. The Orange Box got that. I don't think there's a person in the world that doesn't have that. So there's a lot of games that are going to be disappearing from here. So please make sure if there is any games that I said to you there, go ahead, buy them. They're not that expensive, I don't think, anymore. So you'll be able to pick up most of them for next to nothing. But make sure if you are going to pick them up that you are looking to see if they've got a physical version first. Always buy physical, in my opinion. Let's keep these games available, because once they go like the digital, Scott Pilgrim is probably one of the best examples of this. That game has gone and come back. Whoever renews the license, it will obviously end up getting it, and that's Ubi at the moment. So yeah, it's always worth buying the games physically if you can. Mecha Robot says, so they're available to buy on the XS after the 7th to buy digitally, or is it just the 360 store that's losing them? I want to buy Jet Set Radio, but the website won't let me pay. Stick of Truth does have the Xbox One version as well, but it's £15 new. Yeah, so I have the 360 version. I don't know whether or not it's backwards compatible with the Xbox One, or if you just put it in the Series S and X, whether or not that would work too. But yeah, I think they're disappearing just from the 360 store. But these are the games that apparently don't have remasters or updates that are backwards compatible for your Xbox One and Series S and X, which is why they're saying, look, go and get them now, get them digitally, and then you'll be able to still continue to play them. But I think they're disappearing from the lot. But it does emphasize that it's 360 in this one. It's something that I've been trying to get across 360. I mean, through Xbox 360, I still play mine all the time because I have things like Guitar Hero and all my old Pezzes. I've got, for those of you that have watched an episode of The Scoop before, you'll see that I've got like a bookshelf behind me, and that's full of maybe about 200-300 games. I've got shit ton more in the cupboard that I just can't fit into my office space at this moment in time. But Xbox 360 is probably my most used console, second behind the PlayStation 2. And they're the consoles that I have the most games for, because back then it was all physical. Like, there was very rarely games that was coming out digital, and even if they did, I wouldn't buy them because the physicals are cheaper than buying the digital ones. You're just paying for convenience with the digital ones, in my opinion. And I like to try and keep games for as long as possible, and having the physical disc there means that I have games dating back from 1994, I think is probably the earliest cartridge that I've got. But yeah, it's one of those things. If it's digital, you don't really own the rights to it. You only own the license, and if the license expires, and you can no longer be able to access the server anymore. We've lost a lot of games that way. So I would definitely try and pick up the physical versions of it. Like Metal Gear Solid 3, I think, was it? Disappeared from storefronts. It might have been 4. It was one of those two. It disappeared from storefronts, and we ain't going to get it back anytime soon. It's just gone. We can't play it unless you want the physical disc of it. There's no way of being able to do so unless you own the original hardware. Mecha Robot says, I still have my PlayStation, my favourite PS1 title, Jackie Chan Stuntmaster. Did he ever play that? Did I ever play Jackie Chan Stuntmaster? I definitely heard of it, but I don't know whether or not I played it. I own all the Resident Evil copies that were on PlayStation, as well as Silent Hills, because they were my favourite games growing up, as well as like ISS Pro Evolution and ISS 98, the original ISS and stuff like that. So I have all the games that I grew up playing because they're the memories that I hold. They're the memories, hopefully, when my boy's a little bit older, I can say, look, this is the shit that we used to play. It was, well, to be fair, a lot of the ISS games and Pro Evo games from back then hold up really, really well, so that's not really that much of an issue. But yeah, we've got to try and preserve this shit because nobody else will. But we've still got another 3 news articles to run through today. As I told you, it's going to be a busy old day. We'll go with some Nintendo Switch news because it's been a while. It's been a hot minute. A Nintendo Switch clears $122 million to outsell the Game Boy and the PlayStation 4. This console is showing no signs of slowing down. Like, they will have to retire this console before it stops being sold, unless they bring out a new one. Because it's never had a price cut, and it still manages to absolutely smash it. But anyway, Nintendo has lowered its sales target for the fiscal year in software. Pokemon sold 20 million copies in 6 weeks. That is outrageous. So Nintendo has now sold 122.5 million Switch consoles as of December 31st, up from 114 million. But the company still lowered its sales target for the end of the current fiscal year. Surely they're nearly at critical mass with this. They have to be. But anyway, the figure means that the Switch has now officially outsold the Game Boy, including Game Boy Color, at 118 million and Sony's PlayStation 4 at 117 million. Last year, the Switch has already confirmed to be the best-selling Nintendo home console of all time, beating the Wii's 101 million, which is an outrageous statement considering the Wii was, again, pretty much in every single household because it was aimed at all ages. But however, it's set a way to go before it matches the DS, 154 million. Outside of Nintendo's own consoles, only the PlayStation 2 at 155 million has outsold the Nintendo Switch. The Switch has now reached 994 million games shipped since its launch in 2017, which is more than any other Nintendo console. The DS is the closest at 948.7 million games. There's a bit of just short of 4 million discrepancy there. Wow. In its results for the first 9 months, the Japanese company said that its net sales were down 1.9% to 1,295 billion yen, which is net profit down 5.8% at 364 billion yen. The best-selling Switch games of all time as it stands: Mario Kart Deluxe with 52 million, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Smash Bros. Ultimate, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild with 29 million, Pokemon Sword and Shield 25 million, Super Mario Odyssey, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Super Mario Party, Ring Fit Adventure. I'm surprised to see that in the top 10, if I'm being honest. And Pokemon Let's Go. So Pokemon taking 4 of the spots in this chart. Unbelievable scenes. So yeah, the Nintendo Switch, again, shows no signs of slowing down. Interesting. I think that we will see an updated Switch console. I don't think it'll be called a Switch. I think they'll end up calling it something else. Like, there's been rumoured Switch Pro vibes for like the last 3 years. I don't think we're going to get that. I don't think they're going to try to make something that rivals the likes of the Steam Deck. I don't think that's their intentions. They'll never make something that powerful. It's never been their forte. While everyone else was concentrating on graphics and performance, Nintendo was just putting out banger after banger, and they didn't look pretty. I mean, they've tried to make the newer Pokemon games look pretty. It's struggling to be able to play that game. Frame rates all over the gaff. So I'm very interested to see what the new Legend of Zelda game is going to look like, whether or not we get some massive frame discrepancies with that one. However, they make quality games. Nintendo make fantastic first-party games. Every single game that's within that top 10 is a first-party game. There isn't a lot of other consoles out there that can boast that. Like, they rely on third-party support. Nintendo brought in the third-party support for this after maybe not doing their best with the Wii U. And look, they've absolutely smashed it. There's been Pokemon games coming out left, right, and centre for it. There's only been one Legend of Zelda game, like actual Legend of Zelda game that isn't a remake or a remaster that's been brought out for it, and it's still in the charts now. Like, Mario Kart is still number 1, and it was a remake of a game that got brought out on the Wii U. Like, Nintendo know what they're doing. They know who their target audience is. They know how to make games for their consoles that will sell. And again, that's something that PlayStation are doing relatively well with, but Xbox could definitely look and go, okay, well, what is the simplest form of people being able to enjoy themselves? Aim for that, and then if the graphics and stuff can come later. I understand that graphics nowadays is like, it's judging a book by its cover, because a lot of people are probably looking at the gameplay and going, okay, that's my type of game, but does it look great? If it doesn't look that great, it's probably not going to sell that well. Whereas we've come to expect with the Nintendo Switch, it's like, okay, well, we know what we're going to be getting tech-wise is probably not going to be that visually pretty, but they do have very, very pretty games on there. The fact that they've been able to get the likes of Doom, they've been able to get Skyrim on there, they've been able to get The Witcher. Like, these are massive third-party games that have helped bolster their libraries, and they're absolutely smashing it. I don't think they're going to exceed the PlayStation 2. I think the PlayStation 2 just got discontinued way, way, way later than it probably should have been. Was it discontinued in like 2014 and they stopped making games in 2018 for it? Like, that exceeded all expectations. Like, they were still making stuff for the PlayStation 2 when the PlayStation 4 was out. That is mind-blowing. But still, I don't think it'll get there, but my God, this will go down in history as one of the greatest consoles of all time. The fact that it's beaten the Wii, that's a telltale sign of how good this console was. Mecha says, if the sales drop to 4K version, would definitely sort them out. My nan still has her Wii and has arthritis. My nan still has hers and she uses Wii Fit. No, not as often as she used to do. But she still used the Wii Fit for the longest time. She used to do aerobics like all the time. So she's 73, I think. She's still super, super active. She goes out. She went down. I had to pick her up from Manchester at a weekend because she'd been down to London to go and watch an ABBA gig or something like that. So she's always out the house. She's always doing stuff. I think that's always the best way. But yeah, it's a console that was targeted for everyone, and they absolutely smashed it. The Switch is an incredible piece of software. I could definitely 100% still recommend a Switch to anyone who's looking to buy a new console. Now, the two consoles that I mentioned, the Switch and the Xbox Series S, they're the two consoles. If people would just get into gaming and wanting to be able to jump in with the best games available, they're the two. Very budget consoles. You can pick up the Nintendo Switch. I think I saw some in Tesco for 150 quid. Outrageous value. Same with the the Xbox Series S. You can pick one up for about 180 quid now. Unbelievable value for money with both of those consoles. So they're the ones that I would 100% recommend. And it looks like everybody else is taking the recommendations with the numbers that they are putting out here. Outrageous value for money. So we've got 2 news articles left. We will drop in with some... Yeah, we'll drop in with this. We'll drop in with some Dr. Disrespect stuff. Why not? Dave said there still might be a PS2 stuff being made because the Mega Drive was still having games being made for it until 2002 in Brazil. I mean, to be fair, there is still games being made for the PlayStation 2 because I am still playing them. I am playing patched versions of Pro Evo with like the modern day kits, the modern day badges, the modern day players being put in there. So they are still making games for it, but they're not first party ones. They're not officially licensed games, shall we say. They're definitely the definitely Brazil market games, the ones that you'd walk down and you'd be able to see them on the side. But I mean, to be fair, I watched the Metal Jesus video a couple of days ago and he was still buying Nintendo cartridges, like DS games, Mega Drive games that people are still making for those consoles. They're just not like Sony or Sega stamp of approval kind of things. They're not going through their channels, but they are still making games, homebrew ones at least. But we're going to move on. This has been written over at PC Gamer by Andy Chalk, and he says that Dr. Disrespect's Deadrop is moving to less frequent but much larger updates. I don't know if anyone saw this yesterday, but I watched the 2.5-minute video that got put onto Twitter. But Midnight Society co-founder Guy Beam, better known as a mustache and wraparound streamer, Dr. Disrespect, announced today that the studio is slowing the pace of Deadrop Snapshot, but releases in favour of slower, more substantial updates throughout 2023. He goes on to say, this ain't year one anymore. The good doctor in today's video, a shift has occurred and the expansion has begun. In 2023, it's all about expanding on that foundation. Every snapshot, we will introduce a significant new feature and iteration to the game, but with expansion comes larger features and systems. This requires much longer development cycles. This means that snapshots will be less frequent, but much larger in scope. We will spend nearly 3 months of development each time now on new releases, and with every drop comes a major advancement in gameplay and expansions of the tower. The tower is a building in which Deadrop takes place, a massive building turned self-governing city-state that sucks toxins in from the heavy polluted atmosphere. In this alt history, Earth refines it to space dust, a powerful and addictive narcotic that then sells to the rest of the world. It sounds a bit like the Tree Peach Tower in the vastly underrated film Dread, but on a much larger scale. And in the absence of power figures like Mama to keep things under control, various factions fight for control of Deadrop's towers and the resources that they offer. So again, you can go ahead and watch the video. It's on the Midnight Society Twitter. I'm not going to read into the rest of it then, but the lowdown is it used to be every 6 weeks that they were going to be bringing a snapshot of this game. Now we're looking at every 3 months. It's a game that I wish I would have just paid the £50 for at the time, so I'll be able to play them. However, I know as well as anyone that my game time is so limited at the moment that I probably won't be able to play every single patch that comes through with this. But I'm super looking forward to getting into this. They're mentioning that it's meant to be a game that's in the realms of like a Call of Duty, an Escape from Tarkov, the risk-reward elements of a first-person shooter, the DMZ game mode that's in Call of Duty, which, by the way, I will go on record right now as to say that I was talking about that game mode when it came out, when everyone was shitting on it. And nowadays, the full 180 has come with that game, and people have been rating DMZ mode. I will tell you now that I was banging on about that bloody game mode. It's a fantastic game mode, and now people are, I hate using this phrase, but waking up to see that game mode has so much more potential than just playing Warzone. Warzone has always been broken. Warzone is a very, very good time unless you're playing against 95% hackers, which seems to be rife and always has been in Warzone. But DMZ mode, man, is so much more content going in that. So if you haven't played DMZ, go ahead and jump into it. I can guarantee you now, in an hour's worth of content on that game, you would have had so much more fun than playing Warzone. That's my PSA for the day, by the way. But having a game that Call of Duty, a Call of Duty rival, like what this is hopefully going to be, I have high hopes for this game because I believe in the people that Dr. Disrespect or Guy Beam, whichever persona you want to go with. I believe that this game will be a success, but in what right? Like, I believe that this game will be very, very good, but I don't know how long they'll be able to keep the success of the game up with the content that gets released for it. Like, I imagine this is all that the doc is going to be playing going forward, right? When this game releases, because he wants to show it off, he has another interest in this rather than just playing it, because obviously it's going to make him a lot of money off the back of this. But I believe that is poached people who worked on Battlefield, that have worked on Call of Duty, that have worked on Medal of Honor, that have worked on Escape from Tarkov, that have worked on all these different first-person games, that know how to make good games. And I believe he would have sat down with these people and want to be able to create an experience. And hopefully that's exactly what we're going to get with this one. I haven't seen an absolute ton of it. Again, I haven't been able to play any of the snapshots, so this is like third-hand information that I'll be getting from people. I'm excited to see I'm excited to see more of this. I'm excited to see more of this going forward. I believe that we are going to get a decent game off of it. But how much of a game we're going to get on release, I'm not too sure. Excuse me a moment. Sorry about that. Oh, I've been talking too long. My throat's starting to go. Ads is in here, says, nice. How we doing, Ads? Smithy says DMZ is greater than Warzone 2.0. Lake says, I need to test it. A few others have been recommending it too. What the fuck sounds? What does that mean? Has the mic gone or something? I was just making sure that my mic was still working. Please let me know before I move on to the next article if the mic decided to start breaking or something. I've genuinely no idea. Sound went like 5.1. Oh, what do you mean? Like, it just started going surround sound. I'm just making sure that I wasn't streaming on a delay then for a second. Very briefly in my head, I thought, shit, I've not turned the delay off. I thought I did last week, but yeah, I have done. But yeah, we've got a couple of news articles left, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the loot drop right now. Rather than leaving it to the end so I can wrap up as soon as the article's finished, we'll do the loot drop winner now. How's about that? So, as you can see here... Oh, I need to bring up on screen, don't I? Yeah, like surround sound from 2.1. Tina says, congrats, Beans. Let me move me over to the other side. So, console cameras. No, that's not right. Pit position. There we go. Let's move me over here. That'll do. They were fine. My end. I'm using a 7.1 headset. Jesus, I just started going surround sound in people's ears. That's exactly what you want. So, as mentioned earlier, rigged. We've got 200 people in this because there was a lot of generosity through the Royal Rumble. So that obviously means that gifties are being given to people. Usually we have like 70 people in these, but this month, 200. So this is going to be for a game of your choice, whether or not you'll be able to tell us what you want, and we'll be able to grab it for you like we have done previously. So we've got 200 entries in here. I'm going to give these a load of shuffles. This is probably going to break my PC when we start to roll this one. So that's a lot of shuffles. 200 people in here. I've taken out myself. I've taken ICU out. I've taken my wife out. I've taken Graham's wife out. So I've also taken Dave out. He did win previously, but we're not allowed to have family members or spouses win. So Dave was taken out. We did send him a hat anyway. Hopefully you've got that now, Dave, by the way. I sent that well before Christmas. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, how's about we get this show on the road? Oh, I press shuffle again. There we go. Da, 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 da. For a game of your choice, come on down. Ooh. Sunlight Riot. Sunlight Riot. Congratulations on winning a game of your choice. We'll put this into our Discord. I think it's 72 hours. It's either 48 or 72 hours for you to be able to come on down and claim this prize. We will then obviously re-roll it if they don't come forward. But Sunlight Riot, congratulations on winning a game of your choice. We'll kind of be in touch. We'll put this in the Discord again before disclaimer. You do have 72 hours or 48, I can't remember, but it will be written down there for you in the small print. All you need to do is just let us know that you're there. Come and claim the prize. The game of your choice will be yours. Congratulations, Sunlight Riot! Okay, so we've got one more news article left today. I've just taken it off the screen like a bloody idiot that I am. Let's bring it back on then. How's about that? So Apex Legends finally get some team deathmatch action. Where's this article? There we go. Yeah, so I need to bring us onto the right-hand side again. Bosh. Written on The Gamer by Justin REEVE. He goes on to say that the developer behind Apex Legends, Respawn, just announced the addition of a new game mode, Team Deathmatch, which will be included next season. Reveille. Oh, is that the name of the season? Okay. As you might expect, this new mode will feature 2 teams of 6 players, each battling out for a fast-paced tactical engagement as opposed to the large-scale last-man-standing matches in the traditional Battle Royale mode. Players will respawn after being killed, allowing them to jump straight back into the action and continue fighting. The objective of the mode is naturally to be the first team to reach a set number of kills, in this case, is 30. Whichever team wins 2 rounds out of the 3 takes the match. The new mode is designed to provide players with more intense, action-packed experience and is expected to be popular by players. Team Deathmatch is only going to be available during the first 3 weeks of the new season, but players can still access the game mode through the new permanent modes playlist mixtape. They will then be rotating between Team Deathmatch, Gun Run, and Control. Arenas will be dropped into the mode. It is not meeting our goals, according to Respawn. The primary purpose will help new players master the basics of Apex Legends gameplay. That's actually a very good point, a very good thing to be able to do, actually. This season, rather than new Legends, the existing characters and class systems will be remastered. There will be 5 classes in the new system, each with a meaningful, unique perk. Assault, Recon, Skirmisher, Controller, and Support will be introduced into the game with several different legends, including Lifeline, Seer, and Wraith experience balance updates. Apex Legends will additionally be receiving new energy weapon called Nemesis. According to Respawn, we're hoping to see this potentially unseat favourable standbys like the R301 and Flatline. The weapon is going to encourage players to adopt new roles and playstyles, helping keep the game fresh and engaging. Players can expect full details about the upcoming season, and is to be revealed on February 14th prior to the launch of Reveille. Tito hits the nail on the head there. Apex is way too fast for this old man reactions. I 195% agree with you on that, which is probably why I haven't played it all that often. Having a team deathmatch in there definitely gives me the idea that I can go back and start to learn the mechanics of the game, but learning whilst on the job is quite difficult. you don't want to be jumping in and just getting annihilated because you don't know how to use your armor, you don't know how to replenish your health, you don't know what guns are the best, you don't know what attachments are the best, you don't know what any kind of perk or pickup is used for. Like, it's quite difficult in Battle Royale to learn on the job. If you're someone like Graham, or you're someone like Lotus, Nietzsche, or any of the other guys that are constantly playing PUBG, you learn that stuff over time, and then you are at a point now where you know what your best loadout is, you know what your best attachments are, you know what you know what better throwables to have. Like, all of these things I'm going into blind, and learning on the job with the likes of Apex is definitely something I couldn't get my head around. Like Fortnite, I know my loadout, I know what I'm best with, I know what I'm looking for, but I don't think I will be able to do that for all of these Battle Royale games. I don't think I've got the brain capacity to be able to good at all of them. So the ad says, wait, team deathmatches in Apex is coming at the beginning of the season. So having those abilities to jump into a team deathmatch scenario, it definitely gives you the opportunity to be able to. It doesn't matter if you die. It'll cost your team a kill token, but ultimately you can get to grips with it a lot faster because you are dying more. You get to know what guns have the benefit of your play style. I agree with this. This is fantastic news, and it definitely gives newer audiences the ability to be able to jump in and find out what's going on. It's like Destiny. Like, I want to get back into playing Destiny again, but that game is so far removed from what I played like 4 years ago that I have no idea what I'm jumping into anymore. I don't know the best equipment to be running with. I don't know what I need to do for me trials and stuff like that. Like, it's just so far removed. It will take me probably like 10 to 15 hours to get used to the gameplay and everything else again to find out where I'm up to. But yeah, there's so much more going on with this one. I'm glad that Apex is still going because it is a really, really good rival to. I know people are saying that PUBG's like dying on console. I like to think that we are bringing that back, by the way. But the play base is still one of the top played games over on Steam and in the console sector. So having competitors to Fortnite with the likes of Apex as well, I'm all in favour of it. I mean, Battle Royales are a dime a dozen at this moment. Good ones are few and far between, in my opinion. So I like the fact that Apex are still trying to bring in new play bases, because if they don't, you never know, people might have moved on and your game is no longer playable. Ad says might retry Apex, then I think it might be worth a lot of us end up going back to it actually to see whether or not we can get into it. Team Deathmatch is such a good game mode though. Like, and any game, like I've been playing a little bit of Quake Champions. It's the free-to-play game over on PC. I haven't played a Quake since I want to say in secondary school. In the IT department, there used to be like a username. It's like James Bond, I think, was a username, and the password was 007, and that got you onto a different server where you could play like Quake and Doom and all of these other games. And I genuinely think that was the last time that I'd played a Quake game. But Quake Champions is actually really good. It's quite fast. It takes a lot of getting used to. But it's like one of those where you're doing like a rocket jump and then you're firing your rockets onto the floor rather than onto the player, because you know that'll surround more of the ground around them. Like, learning all the guns and stuff, it's been quite difficult, but I'm enjoying myself. A couple of years ago then, Bib, yeah, I left secondary school in 2007, and that is so fucking depressing. Oh... It honestly might actually make me cry at this moment in time. That's like, 15, 16 years ago. It's outrageous. I don't feel like I'm 32, but fuck me, I look it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's episode of The Scoop. I very much appreciate every single one of you that have joined us for today's episode. Sunlight Riot, congratulations on winning this month's loot drop. As I said, I'll be putting that into our Discord. You can claim your prize. I think, in fact, I can just check now. How's about that? I think it's 72 hours, but I could be totally wrong with that. So where are you? Loot drop. Ooh, scroll. 48 hours. You actually have 48 hours to be able to come in and claim your prize. So yeah, again, thank you very much to each and every one of you that have joined us for today's episode. If you want to help shape the remaining 3 shows this week, there is 2 ways you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It's at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms. Thank you very much, Tito, for putting all of our socials into the chat. We very much appreciate that. All we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day? He's not here, but it's about 10 a.m.-ish. Probably going to be in the afternoon because we're going to have a lot of things to be able to talk about. Me and Graham when he comes back from London tonight/tomorrow. But stick around, ladies and gentlemen. We'll send you over to one of our friends who's currently playing games. I'm not sure who that's going to be just yet, but do stick around. You'll be able to earn yourself some sprinkles. But as always, guys, there's always one thing that we want you to do, and that, my friends, is to stay frosty.